Let's talk about a powerful solution for marketing your rentals: listing distribution. Many years ago, Hero PM approached a small upstart called Yahoo. We convinced them there was a way to display rental homes on their site, without requiring that the landlord or manager go to Yahoo and enter their listing data. With this, Internet rental home listing distribution, also called syndication, was born. Since then, we have continuously expanded our distribution network, and still have the widest and most authoritative rental listing syndication online. We'll show you how this all works, and how you can maximize your rental listings online distribution. Before we jump in, it's worth understanding a bit of the background. One common question from property managers is, if we make a listing active, what websites will it be on? You'll see why this is an unanswerable question when you see how advanced listing distribution works. The process all starts with you entering or importing one of your rental listings and making it active. This is covered elsewhere, so we won't go into detail here. An active listing is immediately pushed throughout the Hero system. This primarily includes your website, group websites that you're a member of, Hero listings, the Hero ILS network, and Hero listing APIs. At this point, your listing will be on numerous websites, depending on the specifics of the listing. For example, you may be a member of a listings group for Central Florida Executive Rentals. They might include your rental if it's in Central Florida, has more than 4 bedrooms, and rents for more than $4,000. Another website called Central Florida Elite Executive Rentals might be set up to pick up listings from the listing APIs. They might pick up your listing if it's in Central Florida, has more than 5 bedrooms, and rents for more than $5,000. Within the Hero ILS network, there are also generic sites and audience-specific sites. You can also post your active listing to manual exports now. Manual exports are for sites where they will not accept or process automated feeds, like social media sites and blogs. On a schedule, all active listings are pushed out to a data pool called the Hero Grab feed. We'll come back to this. This is where most of the websites that publish your listing will get their data from. On a separate schedule, listings opted into partner feeds, either by default or by selection, are pushed out to individual partners. If a partner site offers unconditional free listing inclusion, they are included as a default partner. If a partner site offers inclusion with conditions, either requiring a paid account or some other condition, they are an optional partner where you must opt in to include your listings in the feed. We'll show you how to do this in a moment. Once listings are sent to a partner site, the partner goes through their own process to decide which ones to include and which to exclude, based on their own parameters. In other words, opting in makes it so that we send them your listing, but that doesn't guarantee inclusion. They may require payment, may only accept listings meeting certain parameters, or only accept certain types of listings. In many cases, this is based on the agreement or contract you have established with them. For example, one partner will include all your single-family homes, but not your multifamily homes without a paid contract. Another partner will include a listing only if it passes their rent price algorithm. Yet another partner will only include your listing if they deem the quality of your photos is sufficient. Once these partners process the data in the feed we send, you'll see your qualified listings on their site. You can also see what we've sent from Harmony. We'll cover that later. Let's circle back to the Grab feed. One of the big problems with publicly accessible data is called screen scraping. This is a process where a site operator finds some information online, in this case your rental listing, and, with a combination of manual and automated tools, attempts to copy and paste it into their own database. This is notoriously inaccurate, and problems abound. They may put your deposit where your rent goes, or your bedrooms where your bathrooms go. It's also resource intensive, so screen scrapers are likely to grab your data once, but not update it frequently if at all. So when you lower the rent on their site stays the same. To avoid these problems, Hero listings are included in what we call the Grab feed. The Grab feed is a clean copy of all listing data, organized and structured to make it easy for other sites to grab it and load it into their database. This way, they're getting accurate data and can update frequently. When we discover screen scraping, we offer legitimate sites the opportunity to use our Grab feed instead. This is better for them and for you. These sites then come in periodically and access the clean data they want out of this feed. Sometimes property managers tell us, "I don't want my listing data on sites that I do not know about." Unfortunately, this is an impossible ask. As soon as you make a listing public on the internet, anyone can access it and copy it to their site. The only question is whether they're doing this accurately or inaccurately. The grab feed increases accuracy, as well as keeping things up to date. You can, if you wish, exclude your Harmony listing from all public locations, including the grab feed. The options for distribution are extensive, but it is important to realize once you put information on the public internet, it's out there. As a side note, watermarks are one security measure you can use to reduce problems with your listings on other sites. More on that is in other resources. With all of these methods, your listing might now be on hundreds of websites, but it doesn't end there. Once a site has your listing in their database, they might redistribute. This can multiply the number of sites your listing is on very quickly. Just FYI, when we encounter a site where one of your listings has been redistributed, we invite them to sign up as a direct partner to receive your listings directly from the source. An individual who encounters your listing can also share it, with direct communication or social media. In the end, your rental listing can be seen by the greatest number of people, of any distribution network. Let's go to Harmony and see how to kick this all off. Before we deal with individual unit listings, let's take a look at your configuration. Go to Settings, Places, select the place type, then select Export Partners. This list is all of the places where your unit listings can potentially be distributed. It does not include sites where your listing is redistributed, nor sites that are grabbing your data. The first option is your website, which is always on as an eligible option. How you choose to include listings in your website is highly flexible and covered elsewhere. The second option, the Hero Network, is the source of the vast majority of the hundreds of sites where your listing displays. This is also always on. However, you can exclude a listing from both your website and the Hero Network in each individual unit list distribution settings. Be patient, we'll get there. The next group of options give you the opportunity to turn them on or off. These are optional exports where the site has certain inclusion conditions. When the conditions are published and consistent, you'll see a description of them here. Otherwise, they're entirely up to the site receiving your listings. Remember, turning an option off in settings means you cannot distribute your listings to that site or network. Turning an option on in settings means you have the option to send your listings there. Many of these optional exports do not represent a single site, but rather a network of related websites. For example, Realtor.com is the brand that represents the entire Move Incorporated network of websites and resources. You're actually exporting to the Move network, but, in this case, the partner has asked that we brand them as Realtor.com. In this list, an icon displays the money status of the partner. A green icon indicates they have at least a free basic inclusion option, although they may have advanced options that you can pay for. A red icon indicates that they are primarily a pay-for-listing provider, meaning that you must have billing and payment arrangements with them before they'll include your listings. In other words, if you don't have an account with these partners, your listings will typically not be included in their site or network. A mixed icon indicates they offer some combination of both a free option and a paid option. Because the options of each partner vary so wildly, by the region, type of listing, type of property manager, listing count, and so many other factors, details on each arrangement are generally not available here. Rather, it's up to you to contact the partner and arrange for the inclusion options you desire, and negotiate the price. If a partner does offer a consistent pricing model, it will be displayed here. That's rare, though. Turn on each option you want to be available in your account, and turn off the options you never want to use. When you're finished, select Done. Next, we'll look at how these options apply on individual listings. Select a unit listing from Places. Then select the Distribution icon from the menu. At the top of this view is the Marketing Effectiveness section, which corresponds to the marketing effectiveness meter that you see throughout for a given unit listing. This is the first thing to address. Before worrying about the distribution of your listing, make sure it's going to be effective. The Marketing Effectiveness section provides a summary of the items reducing your score, and what to do to resolve them. When a substantial number of export partners have conditions that will limit your listing's marketing effectiveness, it's tabulated into the Marketing Effectiveness score. The first recommendation is to add 5 more photos. This recommendation is based on market data and an averaging of partner expectations. The actual score reduction is based on the practical impact of an average listing. Your mileage may vary. For example, you see that the lack of listing photos cost this listing 10 points. If this were a high-rent house, it would have an outsized impact. Alternatively, a prospect would not expect many photos for a low-rent studio. You may be able to effectively market your $300 300 square foot studio with a marketing score of 45%. But at 45%, expect your 6-bedroom, $8,000 per month executive home to sit on the market for a long time. As a general rule of thumb, all listings should be in the green zone. As the rent goes higher, a score in the higher range of the green zone becomes imperative. With the demo listing's terrible score of 45%, it's in the red zone. Before going further, fix this up. Editing unit and property listings is covered in other resources. The next section covers default distribution. You don't need to do anything to ensure your listing is distributed to these places. Exclude from exports prevents your listing from being exported to any third parties and scheduled feeds. This does not prevent your listing from being visible in your website, listing group websites, or Hero ILS websites. While this option is available, we strongly recommend against it. Experience tells us that when you exclude a listing from exports, it's more likely to get screen scraped, since that's the only way for many sites to get your data. As we know, screen scraping is error-prone, and you should do what you can to avoid it. Hide from public overrides all distribution and export settings. This is for listings you manage, but you don't ever want to be found online. If you're marketing a unit privately or offline only, this is the option for you. The next section is distribution options, based on your configuration and export partners. Default sites are checked. Optional sites are available to be checked. Checking a site will include this unit listing in the feed to that site or network. In the manual distribution section, sites that do not allow automated distribution are listed. Select a site to generate a manual posting. Each manual site has different instructions for posting. These will display when you select the site. Disabled options shows the sites you have elected to exclude from your options. You cannot select them here, but if you include them in settings, they'll move from disabled options to distribution options. Distribution history shows details on the history of when and where this listing was distributed. Select the listing export data icon to see the data that was distributed. The date is when the data was sent to the location indicated in Process 2. Remember, this date is when the data was sent, not necessarily when it was included in their site. The process reference is a code that correlates to the actual distribution event. If you are working with a partner site to determine why they haven't included your data as sent, they may ask you for the reference code of the event. The type indicates the type of data sent. Typically, data is distributed as XML, JSON, CSV, or text. You probably don't care about this, unless you're trying to troubleshoot a problem and the partner asks. The status indicates what happened with this distribution event. A listing distributed to an individual destination usually starts as exported. This means we sent the data out, and it's up to the recipient to do something with it. In other cases, or subsequent to the export, it could be something like processed, updated, skipped, rejected, deleted, or another status, which should make sense based on its description alone. You only know about a change if the partner reports it to Harmony through the partner APIs. If they're not using the APIs, the only way to know what they've done, after they receive the listing data, is to ask them. Once you've set your distribution exactly as you want, you're all done. Now, it's just a matter of sitting back and waiting for the inquiries, showing requests, and applications to flow in. All of these are covered in other help resources, and are worth studying up on as you create your high-efficiency rental office. For now, you're done. Go for a cold plunge, grateful that your rental listing is all over the internet, everywhere that prospects are looking.